Imagine for a second that you're traveling abroad, you get into a nasty accident, and you wake up in a hospital emergency room in some city you barely know.
Right. A terrifying scenario on its own.
Exactly. And the nurse comes in, and she hooks you up to an IV of antibiotics. You're lying there just trusting that the clear liquid in that plastic bag is going to, save your life.
But what if it's not medicine at all?
Right. What if it's just like chalk, water, and printer ink? It is a completely horrifying thought. But globally, these fake goods make up a shadow economy worth almost $467 billion.
Which is just a staggering number.
Yeah, it's 2.3% of all international trade just happening completely in the dark.
And it actually gets much worse. Because according to the International Chamber of Commerce and the International Trademark Association, that $467 billion is just the floor.
Wow, really?
Yeah. They project that number could balloon to $2.8 trillion in annual losses. We're talking about a massive systemic crisis of counterfeiting and fraud.
2.8 trillion. I mean, this isn't just about someone willingly buying a knockoff designer handbag out of the trunk of a car anymore.
No, not at all.
We're looking at a fundamental collapse of global trust. It threatens the entire economy, and, well, as we'll see today, it directly threatens human lives. Which actually brings us to the mission for this deep dive.
Let's get into it.
So today, we are unpacking a really massive stack of sources detailing a proposed global infrastructure. It's called Deep Authenticity, and specifically, we're looking at its core platform, which is called Authenticity Plus, or AP.
It is a profoundly ambitious blueprint.
It really is. I mean, we are going to look at how this platform aims to track physical goods across the globe. But the real aha moment for you today, the thing that is going to completely change how you look at the future of medicine, is going to be a special focus on a module called Authenticity Plus Health.
Also known as AP Health.
Right. We're going to explore how this technology aims to completely secure the global medical supply chain and protect patient data.
And to really grasp the scale of what we're looking at, I think we have to start with the visionary behind this whole concept, Saïd Smaallah.
Yeah, let's start there.
So his core philosophy, which is the foundation of this entire project, is built on a pretty alarming premise. He argues that the modern world has entirely lost control of what he calls material truth.
Okay, let's unpack this idea of material truth. Because based on my reading of the sources, it seems like Smaallah is pointing out a massive blind spot in how we built the modern world.
Exactly.
Like we globalized everything, right? We
Right.
multiplied the flow of goods to an unimaginable degree, but we completely prioritized speed over certainty.
We absolutely.
It's like we built these high-speed highways for trade, but we forgot to build the toll booths to check if the cargo is actually real. Is that a fair way to look at it?
That is exactly it.
Yeah.
Smaallah points out that because we lacked a way to, guarantee the authenticity of goods as they moved across borders, the result was massive criminal infiltration.
Right.
It's not just a supply chain hiccup. He views this as a geopolitical and civilizational crisis. Nations have literally lost sovereignty over what enters their own borders.
Wow.
Yeah, and deep authenticity is pitched as the structural infrastructure to restore that certainty.
It's like, okay, think about the early days of the internet. We had HTTP. Data was moving everywhere, but it was completely unsecured.
Just flying around in the open.
Exactly. Anyone could intercept it, fake it, steal it. But then we invented HTTPS, that little secure padlock icon in your web browser that proves you are actually talking to your bank and not some scammer in a basement.
That's a great comparison.
It sounds to me like the physical world currently operates on an unsecured connection, and Smaallah is basically trying to invent the HTTPS padlock, but for physical reality.
What's fascinating here is how perfectly that analogy actually aligns with the source material.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Smaallah's proposed solution is to give every product, every creator, and every state a universal digital passport. It's exactly like that digital padlock, acting as a bridge between physical reality and digital trust.
That makes so much sense.
And this isn't just theory either. It's explicitly designed to help achieve the UN's Sustainable Development Goals.
Right. The sources specifically mention SDG 8, which focuses on sustainable economic growth, and SDG 12, which is about ensuring responsible consumption and production patterns.
Exactly.
Because you literally cannot have a responsible, sustainable economy if what, $2.8 trillion of it is completely fake, toxic, and untraceable.
Right. You can't regulate or tax what you can't see.
But here's where I started to get a little skeptical reading through the stack.
Okay, let's hear it.
Well, the HTTPS padlock works for the internet because data travels on fiber optic cables, but physical goods travel on cargo ships through monsoons, they get thrown onto the backs of trucks, they pass through corrupt customs checkpoints.
It's messy.
Very messy. How on earth do you build a technological net wide enough and strong enough to catch all of that? Looking at the architecture they propose, it's like they took every major cutting-edge tech and just mashed them together.
It does seem that way at first.
Right. We've got the Internet of Things, or IoT, so sensors, NFC and RFID chips, scratch-off QR codes. Then there's the AP Cloud for data storage, artificial intelligence for logic, and blockchain to provide the ultimate proof.
Well, it sounds like a buzzword salad at first glance.
Totally.
But the way these specific technologies interact is really the only way this system becomes viable. Let's start with the memory of the system, the blockchain layer, which is known as AP ledger.
Okay.
It acts as an immutable distributed ledger.
Yeah.
Once a product's origin is recorded there, it literally cannot be altered. It creates this inviolable memory of value.
So nobody can tamper with the record.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And crucially, it's designed to be cross-chain compatible with major existing frameworks like Ethereum and Hyperledger, as well as sovereign national systems.
And the security protecting that ledger is just wild. The cryptography specs they outline are incredibly intense.
Oh, they're military grade.
Yeah, we're talking ECC 512-bit asymmetric encryption, multi-level SHA-3 hashing, and something called the AP dual key system with double public and private keys.
It's robust, to say the least.
But I have to ask, is this level of heavy-duty encryption overkill? I'm just picturing this massive NSA-level cryptographic handshake happening in the background just so I can buy, like, a replacement wiper blade for my Honda. Do we really need 512-bit encryption for everyday items?
It absolutely seems like overkill if you isolate it to just a single wiper blade.
Mm.
But you have to zoom out to the geopolitical angle Smaallah is targeting here.
Okay, zoom out. How?
Well, this system isn't just for consumers. It's designed to handle state-level sovereignty. It has to interface securely with national customs databases, tax authorities, international borders.
Oh, I see.
When you are aggregating the macroeconomic data of entire nations, you are creating a honeypot that every state-sponsored hacker on Earth will want to breach.
Wow. Yeah, that's a huge target.
Exactly. Every single data point must be an undeniable mathematical proof. If the encryption is weak, the entire foundation of material truth just crumbles.
Okay, that makes total sense. It has to be bulletproof for governments to ever trust it. But here is the vulnerability that jumps out at me, right at the bridge between the physical and the digital.
The physical tags.
Yeah. If the whole system relies on an IoT sensor, like an AP QR code sticker on a box of expensive electronics, what stops a counterfeiter from just peeling the legitimate QR code off the real box and slapping it onto a box filled with bricks?
That is the million-dollar question. And honestly, it's why the AI layer is so critical to the whole operation.
How so?
Well, the physical tags themselves are designed to be tamper-evident. They call them AP nodes. But the real security is behavioral. The sources describe the AI as the brain of the system. They specifically mention convolutional and recurrent neural networks, so CNNs and RNNs.
Wait, I thought CNNs were mostly used for processing images, like facial recognition.
They usually are. But here, they're applying that spatial logic to logistics.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, the CNN treats the entire global supply chain map like a giant image looking to spot visual and spatial anomalies in the network. Meanwhile, the RNN handles time series data.
Okay, so give me an example with the sticker counterfeiter.
Sure. Let's say that sticker was originally scanned onto a pallet in Mumbai. If the counterfeiter slaps it on a fake box and tries to scan it into a warehouse in Paris 20 minutes later, the RNN recognizes that the physical transit time is literally impossible.
Ah, so it's not just checking if the code is valid, it's checking if the code's journey makes logical sense in time and space.
Exactly. The AI constantly runs this behavioral analysis, detecting anomalies and predicting risk zones.
Yeah.
It learns and self-adapts in real time.
So if the IoT sensors are the eyes seeing the physical world and the blockchain is the permanent memory and the AI is the detective analyzing the logic, there has to be something coordinating all of this traffic, right?
Yes.
The sources call it AP Core. Initially, I thought of it as like an orchestra conductor.
I'd actually argue it's more like a highly advanced automated air traffic controller.
Okay, I liked it better.
Yeah, an orchestra conductor just keeps time. AP Core is actively holding millions of transactions in a holding pattern. It verifies their cryptographic signatures and physical locations before clearing them to land on the blockchain ledger.
That's a lot of moving parts.
And this air traffic controller is operating globally, complying with massive standards like ISO 27001 and GDPR across more than 180 countries.
It is an immense invisible infrastructure. But let's bring this down to earth for a minute.
Yeah.
What does this all mean for you and me when we are actually standing in a store or making a business deal?
The tokenization.
Right. When a product is registered in the system, it generates what they call an AP token. It's essentially a digital certificate of property linked to the physical item's AP ID.
Right, and the transfer mechanism for this token is a very precise cryptographic handshake.
Walk me through it.
Let's say you are buying a certified piece of industrial equipment from a supplier. The supplier initiates the transfer via the Authenticity Plus app. Then you, as the buyer, scan the QR code or the NFC tag on the physical item itself.
So it's not just like clicking accept terms and conditions on a screen. You have to physically be there with the item.
Exactly. It's double authentication. You're verifying both the digital token's validity and the seller's physical presence.
Got it.
Once authenticated, a cryptographic transaction is generated. Both parties sign it using their private keys. This creates a brand new, time-stamped proof of ownership using Universal Time Coordinated, or UTC.
And then it goes to the cloud.
Yes, that proof is instantly synchronized to the AP cloud and etched into the AP ledger.
And what blew my mind reading the sources is that this isn't just a fun digital gimmick. Because of the heavy-duty cryptography and the strict adherence to international electronic transaction laws, this AP token transfer has the actual legal weight of an electronic bill of sale.
It does. Customs agencies, jurisdictions, and insurance companies recognize it as completely valid proof.
That is huge.
And it creates what Smaallah calls dynamic traceability. Because the AI is monitoring the entire life cycle, from the factory floor to the cargo ship to the retail shelf, all the way to eventual recycling. It creates a living map of the real economy.
Every legitimate step leaves a footprint.
A time-stamped digital footprint.
Now, tracking luxury bags or industrial parts or intellectual property is obviously a massive win for the economy. We're talking about clawing back billions of dollars from criminal networks.
Without a doubt.
But the stakes get infinitely higher when the product changing hands isn't a watch or a handbag.
Absolutely.
Let's pivot here because a fake wiper blade is one thing. A fake chemotherapy drug is something else entirely. Here's where it gets really interesting. And this transitions us into the absolute core focus of our deep dive today, which is heavily detailed in the sources, the Authenticity Plus Health module, or AP Health.
This is where Smaallah's vision of material truth becomes a literal matter of life and death. In the medical arena, counterfeiting isn't just an economic loss. A fake handbag means a brand lost a sale. A falsified prescription or a fake antibiotic is a direct threat to human life.
It's murder, basically.
Smallah's biography and the AP Health PDF heavily emphasize sanitary security as a primary driver for building this entire technology.
So the AP Health module is explicitly designed as a global medical traceability and patient protection system. How does it actually work for the patient?
Well, according to the AP Health document, it starts with every patient receiving a personal AP QR code.
Okay.
And this code is linked to a highly secure medical identity.
And it fundamentally changes your interaction with the healthcare system, right? Like when you go to the doctor, the hospital, or the pharmacy, those professionals use the system to add authenticated entries.
Right. We're talking about doctor visits, prescriptions, hospitalizations, lab results. Every single interaction is authenticated, logged, and tied to your specific secure medical identity.
Okay, I have to jump in here with a major pushback because I know exactly what you were thinking listening to this.
The privacy issue.
Yes. If my entire medical history, I mean every single hospital visit, every potentially embarrassing prescription, every sensitive lab result is being logged on a global blockchain-backed ledger, what happens to my privacy?
The very fair concern.
From a data security standpoint, having my entire medical life on a global cloud sounds absolutely terrifying.
It is the most critical question to ask, and the architecture in the AP Health PDF explicitly addresses it. The system does not just dump your medical history onto a public bulletin board.
Good to know.
First, the AP Health architecture relies on absolute end-to-end encryption for all medical data. Even the servers hosting the data just see scrambled math.
Okay, that's step one.
Second, accessing it requires biometric and multi-factor authentication.
Right, but who holds the ultimate key to unscramble that math?
You do. The absolute linchpin of the privacy model is explicit patient authorization.
So, think about your smartphone. You use Face ID or a fingerprint to unlock your banking app, right? Smallah's system essentially turns your biometric signature into the only key that can decrypt your medical file.
Precisely. The patient completely controls who sees the data. You use the app to grant temporary, targeted access to a specific doctor or pharmacist.
So I have total control.
Yes. And the system tracks the access itself. You have a permanent, immutable record of exactly who looked at your file, when, and where.
That's amazing.
Furthermore, the AP Cloud utilizes what they call jurisdictional segmentation.
Okay, how does jurisdictional segmentation work in practice?
It basically means that national data never leaves a country's sovereign territory without official, explicit authorization. The cloud infrastructure might be decentralized worldwide, but it is heavily segmented by jurisdiction.
So it stays subject to local laws.
Exactly. Your health data stays firmly under the legal protection of your country's privacy laws. It preserves both your individual privacy and the state's sovereignty.
Okay, so if we accept that the lock-and-key privacy architecture holds up, the benefits outlined in the sources are just staggering. If we connect this back to the scenario we started with, the emergency room abroad.
No, where you're unconscious.
Yeah. With AP Health, the attending doctors can securely access your authenticated medical history instantly. They know your allergies, your current medications, your blood type, without you having to say a single word.
It provides seamless medical continuity when seconds count.
And zooming out from the individual patient to the state level, the benefits just multiply. The sources detail how AP Health is designed for secure API integration with national health systems. They specifically mention frameworks like the CNAS.
Right.
And for context, CNAS refers to a National Health Insurance Fund. By plugging this API directly into a state's national healthcare system, like a country's equivalent of Medicare or the NHS, the government gains total visibility.
They do. By having every single prescription mathematically authenticated, from the moment the doctor signs it to the moment the pharmacist hands over the pills, you virtually eradicate prescription fraud.
Wow.
You stop the diversion of sensitive medications, like opioids, into the black market.
Which saves the state billions of dollars while simultaneously starving criminal networks of their primary revenue streams.
But the real aha moment, the truly revolutionary aspect of AP Health, is what happens when you look at the data exhaust of this massive system.
The data exhaust.
Yeah. Because the medical data is universally structured, encrypted, and verified, AP Health can provide hyper-reliable, completely anonymized data for global epidemiological tracking.
Oh, wow. This is the insight right here. This system doesn't just stop fake pills. It creates the first real-time, mathematically verified global map of human illness.
Think about the implications.
Imagine an AI watching the supply chain demand for specific respiratory medications or tracking authenticated lab results for novel symptoms securely flowing from clinics worldwide.
It's unprecedented.
It could spot a pandemic weeks before the World Health Organization even knew what to look for, just by watching the logistics network react.
It is a completely new paradigm for public health.
Yeah.
And it ties directly back to those UN Sustainable Development Goals.
Which one specifically?
Well, AP Health heavily drives SDG 3, good health and well-being, by ensuring the absolute safety of treatments and the continuity of care. And it profoundly supports SDG 16, peace, justice, and strong institutions by eliminating the corruption and fraud that plague medical supply chains in so many parts of the world.
It's an incredibly ambitious vision. Let's try to synthesize everything we've covered on this journey.
Sounds good.
We started by looking at the sheer, terrifying scale of the problem. A shadow economy draining up to $2.8 trillion from the legitimate market, putting fake medications into hospitals and fake parts into machines.
We explored Saïd Smaalah's overarching concept of material truth, the idea that we must restore verifiable certainty to physical objects in the globalized world.
Then we walked through the immense technological stack required to actually pull this off, combining the physical, tamper-evident presence of IoT sensors, the sovereign storage of the AP cloud, the predictive intelligence of AI, and the immutable proof of the AP ledger blockchain.
And we saw how this creates a legally binding dynamic chain of possession through the AP token.
And finally, we dove deep into the ultimate life-saving application of this technology, the AP Health module, a system designed to protect patients from fake medicine, eliminate prescription fraud, and give individuals complete biometric control over their own universal medical passport.
It represents a fundamental paradigm shift. Smallah's civilizational goal isn't just about building a better supply chain tracking app.
Far from it.
It is about moving the entire world from an era of opacity, where criminal infiltration thrives in the shadows, into an era where trust is no longer a guessing game. It becomes mathematically measurable, legally binding, and universally verifiable.
It's a future where the physical world finally gets that secure padlock icon. But as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over on your own.
Always good to end on a question.
We've talked extensively about the incredible, world-changing benefits of eliminating fraud and protecting human health. But think about the sheer scale of visibility this requires.
It's massive.
If deep authenticity succeeds, and every object you buy, every single medicine you take, and every physical transaction in your life is perfectly tracked, authenticated, and permanently logged on a ledger to prevent fraud, well, how does that permanently change our human relationship with the concept of being anonymous in the physical world?
That's a huge question.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.